Hey, I'm Shay.
I'm John.
And I'm Nick.
Welcome to It's a Work Thing podcast, where we talk about everything and nothing, and we call it work. Welcome to the first It's a Work Thing podcast at our future home studio.
Right now, it
is a garage.
Yeah, it's a storage unit right now, essentially.
Yeah, but we have a table.
Yeah, we do.
We have 1970 until 2013, whenever my grandpa passed away, Playboys.
Amen.
I still am curious how much money that's going to be worth.
I don't know. I think that could be an episode where we go find out.
That would be interesting. I mean, I'm telling you.
Sticky one.
I'm fascinated.
That's why you're not allowed around me before we start, Nick.
All right. What do you have in the cooler then?
So we usually shoot this at 5:30 in the morning. Tonight we are shooting it at 5:30 at night. That's about perfect.
That's like opposite.
So instead of our traditional coffee, Shay and I are partaking in beers. Nick, what? Do you want a beer, Nick?
No, save my beverage.
Okay, Nick is having a stolen water from Great Value brand. It is purified drinking water with flavor-enhancing minerals.
Out of?
Purified by reverse osmosis. It's distributed by Walmart.
Good to know.
Bentonville, Arkansas.
Bentonville, Arkansas.
They are not a sponsor.
Not yet.
Shay and I have some options.
Okay. Ooh.
We have Allagash White.
Allagash.
We have Boulevard Tank 7 out of Kansas City.
Yeah, I have that at the house.
We have Gumball Head from Three Floyds.
Alcoholic?
Gumball.
And then we have Sam Adams Breakaway Blonde. It is a seasonal release.
All right. I'm going to start with the Allagash.
Take it. I have another one of those. I will also start with one of those.
I'll open my water.
All right.
Nick has already drank out of his water before this.
There it is. Good job. Did you drop it? Did you catch it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
If Allagash White would like to sponsor us, they could sponsor us. Nick's grandma would approve.
Ooh, that is good.
Facts.
Yeah. I thought the white would be good.
Oh, you have two of each. Thought you were going to, swap it.
No, I figure we're going to have more than one.
Okay.
So this is from Maine. It's actually started in 1995. It's one of the OGs of craft brewing in the U.S. So,
and where is Maine?
Southwest,
Please don't do
Nick.
that to me.
It's kind of over by Arizona.
I already have to deal with that with students. Please don't do that to me. I had one that didn't know Montana was a state.
No.
I mean, we've all been there.
I mean,
it is recent.
It is. Oh my gosh. All right. Do we want to do a recap of the game so we can get that out of the way?
Yes.
So Shay recently played in a staff versus students basketball game. He was pretty hyped about it going in.
Mm-hmm. They talked a lot of smack. Yep.
He had actually trained just a little bit, not a lot, but trained a bit. He was getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for the first half, and Nick was there for the second half. So I'll recap the first half.
I was there for the whole game. I was a true friend.
Oh yeah, that's true. I had my son with me, and it was his bedtime, so we left.
I represent that. Yep.
Also, fun fact. Not a fun fact, but my son broke his arm when we took him to the doctor. Took him to the emergency room. They measured him. Guess how tall he was?
Oh no.
Take a guess, Nick.
4'6".
4'8".
What?
He's creeping in. He's creeping in.
Dude, I literally... Okay, before we even get into the game...
The one positive out of him breaking his arm was me finding out that he is 4'8".
And you're sitting there like, come on.
The doctor's fake. No. So I literally did not even want to go in at one point because I was walking in by myself, and all these little kids are coming in, and I'm like, fuck eye level. I don't even care if I'm cussing on this part. They're all eye level. You talk about... I literally told Brie, I was like, I may go work out after this. I'm like... pissed. What are these kids drinking today? Jesus.
More milk than you did, apparently.
Apparently.
So
they learned about Miracle Grow quicker than I did.
The first half of this game, Shay came in, started the game. Started out a little rough.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was...
1 for 6.
One for 6 in the first half.
Yeah, probably.
With a turnover, but a block with a Mutombo finger wag.
Oh, for sure.
He did.
To a minor.
Oh, yeah. He was a freshman.
He was jacking a little bit. He was feeling himself. He was about 4 foot behind the line on a 3-pointer.
Oh, yeah. That's all they were giving me. So I'm like, all right.
Yep.
They said their game plan was to, and I quote, we're going to get in his head and we're going to mess with him where he can't even function.
Well, it worked in the first half.
I think I think Shea didn't play his normal basketball. I didn't see the Shea that I normally see. So I don't know if he was trying. I think he was trying to facilitate and not be a ball hog.
Also,
when he should have just been a ball hog.
That's true. That's true. I think that's true. Like a little bit of that Kobe mentality. You know, you get everybody else going a little bit, and then the second half you take over yourself. But and you know his teammates were lacking slightly, and the other team ran a zone. Let's not kid ourselves. Zone is like the of pickup basketball.
Oh, for sure.
If you got to play a zone, you might as well just not play.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, talk about the second half.
We played zone every time we played basketball. But anyways, speaking of that,
But that wasn't a league.
well, that was prison ball.
Okay, not we then.
Oh, well, no, I'm kidding. Not us, but the other guy that I played basketball with, who will not be mentioned.
Ike?
Yeah. Anyways, so halftime, Shea made a half-court shot on his first attempt for $20. So
The superintendent said, "Oh, the first faculty to hit a half-court shot, I'll get $20."
Shea ran to that freaking
I
half-court
didn't
line.
run, but I did aggressively walk to the.
Knocked over 3 small children.
I did push them out of the way. Yes.
And a teacher with a bad hip.
Not quite. And so the AD took a shot before me. He almost made it. I'm like, well, I'm going to let that opportunity miss again. So I chucked it up there, swished it, and snagged the $20 out of her hand.
He did. Literally. Took it. It was gone. First shot. But no, second half, Shea turned it up a little bit. He got a charge. Took a charge.
Took a charge.
Yeah,
Took
took
a
a charge.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
got charged later. Took a charge, and then he started turning up. Did his little signature hook shot that he always does.
Oh, yeah.
Got that. He actually did they actually did a trick play. Tricked me. They had. Well, Shea, I'll let you explain it.
You
better.
were in the stands. It's supposed to trick you.
It was. I was tricked.
Well, you know how you on the halftime you switch ends? Well, the guy who took the ball out was our varsity coach. We ran this play twice during the season too, and so you send all your guys on the opposite side you're supposed to score on, and so because you're the first one to come out of timeout, you send your guys down there, and the players don't think about it; they're just going in their guard, and so we sent in them, and they all went down, and so like they inbound the ball to Suits, he just throws it to me, I just get a layup because they're
all
went down
down, yeah.
on the wrong end.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I was able to just score a layup.
It was pretty awesome. I was laughing at that one. I was like, that was pretty clever. And of course, it was Shea and the varsity coach that did that.
Well, and of course, literally the guys that were guarding us were our players that we ran that play
Oh, yeah.
throughout the year, so they have no excuse.
You had one of your players that was just straight jacking.
Oh, yes.
He was just sending threes.
Oh yeah,
The entire game.
Yep.
I did not see him make one, but I saw him take about 8.
I want his confidence of just shooting because he did not care. He was that I shoot till I make it kind of person. Like it was
I would love to see Nick with irrational confidence.
So
like seeing with the rash.
our varsity coach actually made a video, like a highlight reel and then a blooper reel, and the blooper reel was obviously all the misses, and he was featured on that video quite often.
Well, every time someone would shoot or he would shoot, he'd hold his hands up like making a 3-point symbol. I was just, I don't know.
And he didn't make any 3-pointers.
I think he made like 3 at one point or 2.
So,
But
let's
when
go.
you shoot 55 times.
But then I made the free throws to seal the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so let's go to the end of the game.
Yeah, so end of the game came. Shea got fouled a few times. They finally started calling fouls. The ref that was extremely out of shape started calling fouls. He made the last 2 free throws to clutch it up. There was another guy that had a chance to extend the lead a little bit with free throws, and he missed them both. So it was Shea that clutched it up and sealed the game for him. So Shea they actually at one point they were stomping the stands, like stomping, trying to bug Shea. Shea literally was like, "Bring it on!" Swished them both.
Yeah, I pumped him up because it was the student section. Obviously, it was, so I waved him on, like,
Yeah.
come on.
He waved them on, and then he swished them both, and then he was like, "Suck it!" Not really, but he should have.
I would have been great. Missed opportunity there.
It was a missed opportunity.
All right, this will lead us right into the great athletes that we hate.
Okay.
It'll be a long segment.
I think it's... So, I thought about this today, and I'd like to break it into 2 categories. One is athletes we love to hate, right? And then athletes we love to hate, but only if they're not on your team. So, like, if you experience having one player like that on your team, you hate them whenever they're somewhere else. And whenever they're on your team, you love them.
So, like D-Rod.
My one was Patrick Beverly.
Oh, yeah.
Did not like Patrick Beverly. Patrick Beverly came to the Timberwolves. Love Patrick Beverly's energy whenever he was at the Wolves. Kind of hate him again.
I hate Pat Beverly. He just
He mouths off, but the dude does get people in good position. He does make good passes, and he does go out and compete, which you can appreciate. But I think there's one name, especially in basketball, that comes to mind: LeBron.
Oh yeah, LeBron's the number one hate
Yeah.
guy. He's hard to like.
It's just and like he's what I'd call a paper tiger. Like if you look at him just on paper, he looks awesome. He like donates all these things to charity and like he does the decision, but the decision, all the money goes to the Boys and Girls Club, and he does. But then you just watch him or listen to him or read anything that he does, and you're just like, God, I hate you.
Yeah, he's a whiner.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yes.
It's like on the floor, he just everything if it does not go his way, he starts whining.
A 6'9", 280-pound, supremely athletically gifted whiner.
Yeah.
Which is the most infuriating thing.
Mm-hmm.
See,
At least I get Chris Paul. Chris Paul is like 6 foot tall with a massive ass.
Yeah.
So I get it. Lord. Well, he is.
No, I'm actually the opposite of that right now because I hated LeBron all through the Miami's
You
time,
like
the
LeBron
Cleveland.
now?
Well, my favorite team's the Lakers.
Oh.
So
boy.
You like the stuff that he did with before the trade deadline, every year in the trade deadline where he holds your team hostage. You like that?
No, not now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Like, that's the thing I can't stand is that he literally holds his team hostage every year and he's like, why don't you trade all of your future picks for players that I can have? And Cleveland did it the first time around. They brought in like Shaq and like all these dudes.
Antoine Jameson.
Yeah, all these massive contracts that couldn't play as soon as he left. And then the second time, he got mad at him and left from Cleveland because they wouldn't trade those first-round picks in the future.
Well, they got him Shaq at the deadline that one year just so he could go against Dwight Howard.
Shaq was so spent. Shaq was spent the second he left Miami.
Yeah.
That was brutal to watch.
Yeah. Really
I at least liked him in Boston because he was like the ninth dude. Mm-hmm. But everybody else who counted on him for minutes or to make an impact, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Phoenix, worst trade. I love Sean Marion. And they sent Sean Marion to Miami.
My favorite clip of Shaq when he was on the Phoenix Suns is when he kept running into the stands, and there's a clip of him like about to run and like save the ball, and all of his teammates just run out of the way. And he's like, "You're supposed to like corral me," and they're like, "No, no, it's got out of the way."
I ain't catching you.
Yeah.
So who else?
James Harden.
James Harden. I think that's a good one too because James Harden, OKC James Harden. First couple years of Houston, James Harden. Love James Harden.
Yeah.
He was under the radar, I felt, 100%. Though, too. He wasn't like...
Yeah.
He just the dude that went out there, got buckets, attacked the rim,
wasn't
could
really
shoot.
talking.
Yeah. And then as soon as he like got to like the MVP years and he's chasing triple doubles and
correct.
And in all honesty, his playoff performances too. Like dude is like a game 7, not somebody you want on your team. Like he is a lack of a bucket at that point.
Nick, you got one?
For basketball, I would say mine would be... I would say Kyrie Irving. I was a big Kyrie Irving fan when he came out of college because Duke, and I'm a big Duke fan. But especially around like the later years, he just like where he just wouldn't play, or he was like he was like quitting on his team, and that
basically from Boston on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I loved him his first year in Cleveland. I actually have a Kyrie Irving shirt because obviously I was a Duke fan, and when we went to Cleveland, I was like, all right, but.
I mean, if it weren't for him, LeBron wouldn't have another championship.
Yeah.
Never been an Irving fan. Yeah. Never. I didn't get the hype whenever they made the, Uncle Drew
See, I did like
movies.
those. I thought that was cool.
Didn't get the hype with him. I mean, dude's got handles, but no. He's never been a guy that I really liked. Going all the way back to whenever he was drafted. Football-wise, you got, obviously, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady was mine. I hate Tom Brady.
And I hated the Patriots for a long time. And then as I've gotten older, I respected the Patriots.
Yeah.
It's like Alabama. You always hate the team that's on top, but I feel like you go through like a growth stage in life where you appreciate the process that gets you there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know he's a hell of a football player and all that, but I was a Colts fan too. So every year he would end our season and I would just hate him more and more and more and more. And I would, no matter who he is playing against, I would always root against them.
I figured you would be a Cowboys fan.
Oh, God, no.
Well, you like the Lakers and you like Duke. I mean, the next step is Cowboys.
I like.
What are you, a Yankees fan too?
That's me.
I am.
Okay, but I have
You are a
I am a
Yankees,
Yankees fan.
Jesus Christ.
okay, but I have good reason to be a Yankees fan.
You do have a good reason to be a Yankees fan.
Which I think
Nick
you're going
does
to really
too. He's a
enjoy.
pop-up fan for whoever spends the most money.
You're going to really enjoy when John comes on and be able to ask him all the Yankee
I
questions.
will. Well, I'm sure he's just got tons of stories.
Mhm.
So, but no, I like. I hated Tom Brady, but now I respect. I mean, obviously, I respect Tom Brady. I know he's a hell of a player, but just when he would kill us every year, I hate him because he'd end our season, and I
Yep.
was a Peyton Manning guy. So, but I really learned all my sports stuff from, I would say, from Josh because he liked, like, that's how I got into basketball. We were watching the Lakers versus Detroit in the finals, and I was like, oh, I love the Lakers.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I had a period where I really liked the Lakers too, and that was the Kobe. One of our first getting into the NBA was like the Kobe requesting a trade from the Bulls time, and I was a big Pau Gasol fan, and Pau Gasol going out to the
love
Lakers.
Pau.
I love those years. I loved Pau Gasol.
That's fair. Anybody else you want to mention that you didn't like?
I've got another one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I absolutely hate Kendrick Perkins.
Oh,
Oh
yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
Dude, he
God.
drives me nuts. Especially
Yep.
all the bulk. Like, I didn't really care much when he was a player because he wasn't that good.
As
A
an
big-
analyst, yeah.
Yeah, as an analyst, dude. Oh my goodness.
I hated him as a player because the dude was so overrated as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not kid ourselves. If he was not on that 08 Celtics team, more people get so much play from that 08 Celtics team than anybody I've ever seen in history. One championship, Doc Rivers gets job after job after job.
How
KG,
oh
Paul
gosh,
Pierce.
with the
We still
Bucks.
talk about KG and Paul Pierce having to have a reunion with Ray Allen.
Yeah.
We still talk about shit that had nothing. Like, they won one championship.
I mean, I put more on the Mavericks championship than that one.
Yeah, the Mavericks.
That was
a good one.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because that Lakers team that they played was pretty good, though, too.
I get that, but
Because
Nowitzki
Kobe,
was
Powell, Bynum,
okay, but
Nowitzki carried him.
yeah,
Nowitzki had a more impressive performance than I think he had one of the singular most impressive performances.
against prime LeBron,
Yep.
Wade, and Bosch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, let's not kid ourselves on that one.
Yeah.
And he had all old players though. All
Yep.
of them were old.
Well, I think, yeah, and that's what
Chandler was the youngest one. I think he was 31.
he was.
or
He was like
28.
29, I think.
Okay,
he was
still.
29 because then he was a Knicks and whatever else after that. But like, yeah, you got like once again, you got Sean Marion, you got Kidd, you've got Jason Terry.
Brian Cardinal.
Was D Will? D Will wasn't on that team
No.
yet. D Will wasn't on that team yet. No.
They had Caron Butler. They had.
Cardinal.
They did. Hey, he played good. He played minutes.
He
had
played
him.
a minute or two. You
Yeah.
are correct.
Hey, he made some shots.
Tyson Chandler dominated that though.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
defensively for sure.
I didn't appreciate because I'm a Timberwolves fan. I did not appreciate fully what somebody like a Tyson Chandler or a Rudy Gobert does until I've watched a lot of basketball with Rudy Gobert in it this year, and he like shuts down a third of the floor. And having somebody like that, especially in today's NBA, is impressive with all the shots, like all the threes and everybody shooting from distance.
Well, I mean that's with Victor.
Yep.
Good gosh.
Yeah, he's putting up insane numbers.
Do you?
Chet Holmgren.
Oh yeah,
But see,
I like Chet.
Okay,
Well, the Gonzaga guy.
wait, real quick.
Well, that's fair.
Chet or Wemby for Rookie of the Year.
Oh, it's Wemby.
Yeah.
It's Wemby. Everybody is talking about based on stats and like record, Chet could be there. And I was like, Chet is a fantastic player, don't get me wrong.
But he's not Wemby.
Chet is playing in a 5-out offense with talented players around him.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot understate that whenever it comes to a center. Like, Wemby has nobody creating for him.
Yeah.
Half
And
the
he's
year they haven't
getting-
even played with a point guard.
He's getting double or like triple doubles with blocks and stuff like that too. I mean, he's
Well, yeah,
It's
Chet's
insane.
playing with Shia, who is in the MVP running.
Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he's not win, but he's still in the running.
Oh, I think if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is one of my favorite players in the NBA right now. He is so crafty. So crafty.
yeah.
He does a lot of pump fake dribbles. He actually establishes a pivot foot, goes through. Like, his buckets look effortless. It doesn't look like some other players, they generate them, but they're like attacking the rim and going downhill and all these things. Shea is just making the everybody else play at his pace.
But I'm looking forward to the Chet Victor rivalry throughout the
Oh, yeah.
going throughout the
Yep.
year and stuff. But did you ever see Victor's like warm up, like what he does, like to warm up and everything? It's kind of fascinating. Like he does a lot of like stretching, like the calisthenics and whatnot to try to prevent from injuries because of he's like super duper flexible. Like if you watch him do all these things, like it's quite his whole warm up routine is quite impressive actually.
It's like CJ Stroud or whatever for the QB for the Texans.
Yeah, I like him.
He does his pre-game like warm up stuff, and it's like he's shooting a bat. He's a quarterback.
Yeah.
And he's shooting a basketball. He's like swinging a baseball
He was
bat.
almost like a 5-star prospect in basketball.
Oh, he was really good at baseball too. He did the celebrity game and hit a home run.
Isn't it Dak that does the really weird hip thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else? Any other athletes we want?
You have the obvious A-Rod.
That's
right.
I put him on my list. I didn't.
A-Rod's the obvious.
A-Rod is another reason why I love the Yankees.
Well, and
What did you love about A-Rod?
I loved him and Derek Jeter, and I watched.
Well, Jeter's love. I mean, I liked the Jeter.
Yeah, when
I think Jeter's overrated. I'm just gonna say it. I think he is.
Okay.
I think Jeter.
You're not alone. A lot of people think that.
Jeter in his prime was fantastic.
Yeah.
Jeter the last 8 to 9 years, you gotta get these peak Jeter years. Jeter is past his peak.
Yeah.
People loved him.
When I started falling in love with sports, the Yankees were like smashing home runs. Like they had Jason Giambi, they had Gary Sheffield. They were smacking home runs. And when you're young, that's the main thing I liked about. So I'd pick them. And
if the Yankees could stay healthy with freaking Judge and Stan at night. What was it? I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. Their lineup, 1 through 7, was a big home run threat every year. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, small ball has went through the wayside, but small ball is where you win. I mean, it goes to show you can't just hit homers every time. It's not go big or go home.
Yep. Shay is opening his second beer. It is a Boulevard Take 7 from Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
as I sneezed, and like
That was the quietest sneeze I've ever seen.
I tried to be quiet. That hurt my chest.
It
Yeah,
hurt my chest.
God.
Buddy, just let it go.
It looked like you were having
Lord.
you might have to check your spine. You have to go to the chiropractor.
C-section. Jesus.
Well, I
okay,
think
sorry,
now
I interrupted
this is a good wait. I think this is a good time for an ad.
All right.
So it's a good time for an ad. One of tonight's sponsors is Miracle Grow. It's not just for your shoes; it's also for your plants.
And for your facial hair. If you have a distaste for facial hair, don't put it on your face.
If you have I think everyone should have a healthy distaste for facial hair.
Potato. Some people like feet. Some people like lick face. I don't know.
Nick, we don't need to hear about your side jobs.
Well.
And Miracle Grow has probably dropped us by now.
Well, there went that sponsor. Gosh dang it.
We'll try again tomorrow.
There goes the money.
All right, you want me to move on to the next?
Yeah, let's check out the next one.
All right.
Also, I'd like to point out that Shay is wearing a pretty awesome historic Schrute Farms.
The Battle of Schrute Farms.
The Battle of Schrute Farms.
Well, it's not the battle.
No, but it's the B&B and the Beet Winery. Mm-hmm. You ever had Beet wine?
No.
I wonder if it actually exists.
I'm sure it does. Imagine it would somewhere. But our next thing is I'm going to give you a little bit of a history lesson.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So, have you ever heard the phrase "cat's out of the bag"?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, what does that mean? Like, if you use the phrase "cat's out of the bag,"
Like the surprise has been blown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, you're in trouble, right? Like,
Yeah.
Everything's okay. So, it comes from during colonial times. All right. British troops were known as regulars. Okay,
Yep.
because they were paid whatever. They were not paid a very high wage at all, like very low wage, and so they had to be disciplined very much so on a regular basis because of otherwise they would do whatever and do bad things. Okay, so one of the most popular ways to keep them in line through discipline was using the cat o' nine tails.
Oof.
What's
And
that?
so the
It is
cat
a
o' nine
whip.
tails, they kept
Surprised you don't know of all people.
the cat o' nine tails they kept in a bag, and so when they brought the cat o' nine tails out, cat's out of the bag, so that means you're in trouble.
Jesus. That's dark.
And so the cat o' nine
Switch.
tails,
I was like, oh, cat's out of the bag. You just ruin somebody's birthday surprise. And it's like, no, cat's out of the bag is a whip that will beat the piss out of you.
yeah. So that's where the cat's out of the bag comes from.
You never seen a cat of nine tails?
So-
it is a whip that has 9 little straps on it. So whenever they hit you, it's like
9
each individual
times.
one's not just the one. Yeah.
And so that's what it's a long handle that has 9 leather straps attached to it, so it acts like a cat's tail. It whips. That's why it's called the cat o' nine tails.
We'll have to show Bree.
If they hit you 9 times with it, it's like 81 times you got hit.
And it
9
de-
times 9.
And it depends on how bad they wanted to hurt you. because sometimes the cat of nine tails would just be ended with a knot, and so obviously that would hurt pretty bad.
Sounds like some Adrian Peterson stuff.
Or
Don't talk about my ruined fantasy football season like that.
oh boy,
I had Le'Veon Bell when he just sat out. So
I had both of them.
yeah, well,
or they would add like nails to the end of them if they wanted to break
Or
your
they used-
skin open.
They would do shards of glass as well.
Yes. Yep.
Lord.
I believe it was actually in the Bible as part of the things they whipped Jesus with.
Yeah,
Am I
Jesus
correct?
got whipped with the cat of
Uh-huh.
nine tails.
That's what you
yes.
need for those moles.
Nick, if I can catch the moles enough to hit them with a cat of nine tails,
Dude, when
I'm
you
just going to
catch-
shoot them.
When you catch them, that's what you got to do to them.
So the phrase "cats out of the bag" comes from colonial times. So when cat's out of the bag, you're in trouble.
Speaking of cats, you know what they saw about 100 feet away from here last night?
We're on the animal encounters. Perfect.
Bobcat.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Like 100 feet away from here in the field across
I'm
the road
glad
right
you
here.
shut this door.
I'm glad I didn't. I want to see you fight him.
I will.
This is, yeah,
That's
bobcats
happy.
are really cool. I would,
Well, yeah, not if they're 150 feet away from your cattle.
yeah, fair enough. Well, you should be able to shoot one.
That's the plan. That's why I'm not calling DNR until after I shoot one.
Yeah,
DNR.
Department of Natural
rescue?
Resources.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
I'm not calling the Do Not Resuscitate hotline until after I've already killed it. Correct, Nick.
Well,
All right.
I've heard this is okay. I've heard. I don't know if this is true or not, but because bobcats have become so populated around this area, that if you do end up shooting one, they're not going to prosecute very much, just because they're so popular and they understand that
Well,
they are.
and I'm not going to hunt for it.
well, yeah, obviously.
So mine is just like if it's in the lot with my
Defend your
cattle,
ground.
I'm going to go do it. And I think I think it falls under the nuisance permit the same way
for
anything
you.
else would.
For you, for sure, yes.
But I looked it up because the state of Illinois does allow like a limited number of bobcat tags. Actually,
That's a fact. Yes, I've applied for them. I haven't got one yet.
that is that's a show. The three of us going bobcat hunting.
Dude, I'm down. I'll arm myself with a bunch of knives.
Nick's gonna shoot a skid steer.
How about we go coyote hunting first before we go bobcat? Like, let's.
Dude, I've got like ninja
I think
stars.
we should start with squirrels and maybe
Okay,
fish.
fair enough.
I think we should go
Got
fishing
ninja
first.
stars.
Should we fish first and then we go then squirrels
Dude, we could
and then
fish
dove?
for a podcast. We could do the podcast and fish, no problems.
That's true. That'd be interesting.
I don't got any equipment.
I have it all.
Okay, good.
Good.
Nick has a kitty's fishing rod.
Guys, I've got
He
all
shows
the
up in a
equipment.
Toy Story
I've got-
fishing rod.
I've got one of those things I clean my pool with that I could stick in there and try to
The
scoop
net?
one out. Yeah, a
I,
net.
you know,
Skimmer?
you can try that.
Dude, I will try that. That'd be fun.
We really do need to do, and then we'll have a recap of all of our events, or as we're doing it.
we could fish. Do it. We could do it live while fishing.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I do have one quick story about DNR. So DNR.
We're on animal encounters anyway, so we're good.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So, anyways, DNR. So I'm a first responder, obviously. So
No,
we
not
went
the
to-
same thing, Nick. not the same thing.
No, no.
DNR is Department of Natural Resources.
Okay,
Not
DNR
do
is
not
in do not. I'm
I'm
talking
aware.
about. I know.
That's not what we're talking about
I know,
here.
but I'm bringing it full
No,
circle.
no. You said unrelated note. Here's an unrelated thing. After I clarified it for you.
Well, it's related now that
Nick,
I said
Nick
it.
just wanted to tie in and be like, I'm a first responder.
So, anyways, DNR.
Recently named firefighter of the year. Nick,
you.
I'm gonna beat him to the
Congrats,
punch
by
here.
the way.
you.
Congrats.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm gonna beat him to the punch and just go ahead and call that out for him so he doesn't have to.
How many calls?
Well, that was separate, but I
Oh,
made
sorry.
190 fire calls and I had 96 EMS calls.
Dude, I make
so,
way more calls than that for real estate leads.
I bet. But no, the cool thing about the firefighter of the year thing was the guy that presented me the award was the guy when I first started said I wasn't gonna make it and I should quit.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so he was dealing with a lot of stuff. Like he actually took time away and he came back and he's like a completely different person. Like I'm
good.
proud. Like we're like
for him.
we're good friends now.
That's awesome.
So it was kind of like a full circle moment. He actually made me cry when I got my award because then he was like talking to me more like off the side and so it was a nice thing.
That is nice.
They all stood when I like got presented and everything and
Hey Nick,
Couldn't
you will
see to get
never
there.
monetize this podcast.
Never. Never. You won't make a cent from this.
That's how we get Nick to work for us.
I'll show you. But yeah,
We're millionaires in 2 years.
but
That worked out.
Nick is shoving this podcast out everyone's throat.
Don't
you
care,
will
I'll
like
take
it. Yeah. But anyways, dead people. So
Oh my god!
so
All right.
we went to this nursing home and
Oh, might
and
as well went to the morgue.
well they weren't dead yet, but
I think I know how the story ends. Whenever I said they weren't dead yet, I know how the story ends.
No, so we get there, and the nursing home that we went to is horrible at like keeping records.
People alive.
Yeah, well that too. So DNR is obviously you do not resuscitate, so you don't start CPR or anything like that. So we get there, and this guy in front of us is like he's basically dying. He's got no pulse. We need to get him on the ground and start CPR if they
No
can't
pulse
provide.
is not basically dying. That is basically dead
Well,
duh.
I like to stick a mirror in front of their face, and if it gets blurry, then I know that
What
it
else do
fogs
you use?
up.
What else do you use this mirror for, Nick?
later. But anyways, so they couldn't present the papers to us, so we start getting them on the ground. And I start doing CPR, and if you've never done CPR before, I don't know if you guys have.
I'm CPR certified, actually.
Like, have you actually done it to a live person?
I've never.
Okay.
I know you do it to the "I Will Survive" the song.
Yeah.
First,
I
was
always
afraid.
because I had to
I
pull
was
my phone out,
petrified.
and I gotta pull my phone out, and I'm like, hold on, I gotta get a rhythm. But
Getting the beat. He's
Yeah.
like, "No, wrong song.
Yeah.
Wrong song.
yeah, it keeps going like Drake.
It's like The Office.
This is a terrible time for a Spotify ad."
I gotta stop. That's when I check pulse. But
Well, good thing we need to make money from this, so you don't have to pay premium.
That's
so we don't have to have ads.
facts. But so, anyways, if you've never done CPR to a live person, it's the first time. Well, really, the first time
Doesn't
you start.
sound like this guy was alive either.
well, anyway, I've done CPR a lot, and I've saved lives. I have brought people back. But anyways,
and
you,
got COVID.
I have. But it's the first time I got COVID. But anyways, you break the ribs whenever you start doing CPR.
Yeah.
So like you can feel the ribs break, and every time you do that, it's such a messed up feeling because that's a feeling I never can like stop feeling when we do it.
Well, yeah.
So anyways, I pull this old guy down. I start going to town because I'm like doing CPR. I'm breaking his ribs, and they can't show any of the DNR paperwork. So you have to do work on them until they can provide paperwork. I literally get him back. He's talking, and they present the do not resuscitate papers.
No.
And I was like, well, at that point, so
Nick walked over,
You
grabbed
saved
a
the guy
shovel.
that was not supposed to be saved.
Yeah, basically.
Nick walked over, got a shovel, comes back over.
Sorry, buddy.
Hold on. So to tie us back to the original encounter, other than Nick bringing back a guy that did not want to live, animal encounters. So whenever I was in high school, I had a Ford F-150. I was driving back from a basketball game one night, pouring down rain. I smoke a raccoon on
I
the
thought you were
road
gonna say a guy.
that is so big that it makes the entire back end of my truck jump up and move over to the side. It makes my truck fishtail.
Jeez.
So the next day I'm driving to school and I see this raccoon and it's massive in the middle of the road. It's dead. I drive back, keep going past it, just go to school. I come back, we have open lunch. I'm gonna go back home, grab
Open
food, and
lunch?
go. Yeah, you could leave campus. Leave the
Okay.
school campus during lunch.
You can't do that.
No, it's just a weird word of saying it. Open lunch.
That's what we call it.
This is
Yeah.
open lunch. Wow.
For an alcoholic, it's got like 6 beers in it.
Couldn't open the cooler.
We had an open lunch with 6 beers.
Yeah, well.
So I'm driving back from lunch and I see a vulture eating this raccoon, right? And I'm like, it's a vulture. It'll move, right? We're just booking along 65 mile an hour. So the vulture, I'm getting closer and I'm like, he'll fly away. He'll fly away. He'll fly away. He goes, one wing flap, hits the front of my truck, flips, goes spread across my windshield, cracks my windshield,
Oh my god.
rolls over into the bed of my truck. I pull over on the side of the road. I did not have a bed liner, so our church had gotten rid of their old carpet. So I took the carpet and cut it out to match my bed to use
That
it
is
as a bed
some
liner.
Ghetto stuff right there.
So I go in the back.
You're
This
just- you think
vulture
of it.
is bleeding. He's squirting blood.
Oh,
He is
that's graphic.
broken wing, flipping around in the bed of my truck, and I'm
Put
like,
duct tape on
I
them.
don't know what to do with him now. Like, he's obviously not going to live, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, 16 years old. I look around. In the ditch, there is a grain shovel.
Oh my.
Then what happened?
We're gonna be shut down.
I killed said vulture with a shovel. Panic, as a 16-year-old would. Roll the vulture up in the carpet. Throw the carpet in the ditch on a country road. What the? I go eat lunch. Come back. Think nothing of it. Go to
You just committed murder.
Just go to school. I come back. I go to turn onto that road. Police stop me.
Oh no.
They had the road shut down.
Why?
Someone had reported blood in a carpet rolled up on the side of the road.
Oh my god.
And they shut down the road, and the guy's like, when's the last time you came by here? And I was like, lunch. And he's like, did you see anything? And I was like,
Yeah,
nope.
I killed this thing over
Nope,
there.
I didn't see anything.
they look-
I'm going to go this way. Yeah, they opened it and found out it was a bird. But yeah, somebody drove by and reported it as a dead body inside of that
my
carpet.
People should have mind their business.
People need to.
Now, as a 30-year-old, I understand their logic. Me as a 16-year-old, I didn't know. In my mind, I didn't have a smartphone. And I was like, this might be a protected bird. I don't know what to do here. So I rolled them up, threw them in the ditch. I
Their
didn't know.
fingerprints were all over the scene.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine the police officer's surprise and also relief whenever they found a dead vulture instead of a dead body.
Imagine if they had pulled up on you while you were doing that. That'd have been hilarious.
I was out in the wide open. I looked around. Looked around before I beat it to death.
It's my foot you're playing footsies with.
Thought it was John's.
No, it's fine.
Mine are tucked firmly underneath me.
I'm kind of sad that you thought it was John, not me now.
I know, he was really excited about it being me.
Yeah.
We need a bigger table.
No, it's perfect.
Can we put the leaf in so I can be further away from Nick?
I don't think that works that way, though.
I'll just scoot back.
Nick, you have any animal encounters you want to talk
Short
about?
little legs.
I have nothing.
Nick's best animal encounter story is resuscitating a guy who was dead that wasn't supposed to be resuscitated.
He is an animal. But, no, I am horrified of snakes, and we've had some... we've had a snake that I've killed.
This isn't what is Nick afraid of. I don't like spiders or heights. I do enjoy long walks,
women with high standards.
on the beach. We're not talking about your dating profile. Why do you keep trying to move on from
That is
animal
my dating
encounters?
profile. I will kill your animals for you. And take you on a walk. Wrap
So
Wrap you up in
I have
carpet.
had multiple encounters with cows. Obviously,
Yeah, that's how you get money.
one of
Wagyu.
them, there was we use old guardrails from the interstate, and we use them to build barriers around pins because they can't break them.
Yeah, that's what the farm I work for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
They're really sturdy.
we had guardrails separating the same pin. Like there was just like one section separating a pin. A cow put his head between the two guardrails and then got it stuck,
Yeah.
and then was just shuffling along side to side.
Yeah,
And
chainsaw.
he was 4 foot from the opening, a 20-foot opening. He could have just walked into where he was trying to go. So I don't know why he stuck his head through the fence to start with.
No, they're pretty dumb.
My dog has also gotten me kicked by a cow because I was
Which one?
trying Leo.
Leo. Of course, Leo.
Oh yeah, Leo. Whenever he's a puppy, I was unrolling a straw bale to bed the barns, and Leo was there with me. And a cow came up, and he was afraid of it, and he turned and barked at it, which scared the cow, and the cow kicked me directly in the kneecap. And then Leo proceeded to run away, throwing barks over his shoulder. He turned his head and bark as he's running away.
Oh my god.
Oh. I mean, we can talk about mole trapping since I...
Yeah, Shay just set up mole traps at my house.
Like
I'm kind of
16.
excited to see what happens.
Okay.
I'm hoping I catch something.
I'm
Me
not
too.
going to lie, though. Your mole run you have is one of the longest mole runs I've ever seen.
I
though.
know.
It's
Goes on for a while.
forever.
Dude, you should see some of the ones at the other farms. You will see longer mole runs.
I believe that. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You know what moles eat, though? They eat worms.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, if you're, like, in your pasture and stuff like that...
We don't
moles,
do that.
What?
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know moles?
Oh, didn't know
You're
that.
like,
I thought you said we all do that.
Oh, I'm like...
I thought that's what he said. And
I'll
I was
do
like,
that. I'm like,
dude,
what are you
that's a
talking
little
about?
far for the protein gains.
No, yeah, moles eat worms. And obviously, in his pasture...
gotta get a cheaper worm guy.
Carry
Okay,
on.
Creed.
Carry on.
Manure makes soil nice, and so those worms are obviously in there. So I 100% believe that. And so I set 5 traps, to be exact. And so I was telling Nick I can't remember what I was even talking about what to do with moles. Oh, if you ever do have a mole trap, what you need to do is, if you don't know if it's whatever it's active, you just need to make sure you mush it down. Just go literally through and walk on top of it, and then go back and see if it pops back up, then you know the run is active, so you know you
Yeah.
can trap it.
Makes sense.
So that's one of the most popular ways, because right now it's actually really hard to trap moles. Well, yours is more obvious, but like for my yard, it's hard to know where they're active at because everything's so dead. It's hard to see the runs more, and so as the year goes and the grass grows, it's easier. But yeah, if you can mash down mole hills and mole runs, you can know which ones are more active. Because that's where you can actually trap them better, is when you know they're active and know that they're there. I can guarantee I can get you one.
I'm excited for mole trapping because the only experience I have is setting live traps for raccoons and for possums.
Yeah.
Dude, those things are mean.
We get raccoons in our back shed.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And we had one in the barn where we have our cattle he was running across the rafters. It was about 9:30 at night. I went over to go feed, and I turned on the light, and this big old fat raccoon was running across the rafters. And I was just kind of frustrated at everything else that was happening in my life, and I grabbed the pitchfork that was there, and I threw it.
Did you?
And I gigged him, but I did not kill him. And I knocked him off, and then he came down, and he was just going and hissing at me. I was like, oh, shit, I just threw the only thing I have.
Christ.
I'm trying to kick dirt at him. Get him to
Should
go
have
the
wrapped
other
it up
way.
in a carpet.
He's got this. Well, it wasn't even a full pitchfork. It was a half a pitchfork. He's got this half pitchfork stuck in him. He's hissing at me.
PETA is shutting
was
us down
terrifying.
so quick.
It's like the Michael Myers of raccoons.
That falls under nuisance permit.
Have you guys actually been raccoon hunting?
We're speaking in third person. We've never done this.
Hold on. I have. Go ahead. You talk about raccoon.
Have you ever been raccoon hunting?
No. I find them on accident.
Okay, so
That's true. I don't try to.
the only reason I got into raccoon hunting is my older brother. My brother's about 6 years older than me, and so when he was in high school, he got into raccoon hunting big time. And you need dogs for it. I mean, you don't necessarily need dogs, but it makes it much easier if you have dogs.
They'll tree him for you, and then you just shoot him.
Unless you got that dog in you.
All right, we're taking Nick.
Yeah, we'll take Nick.
Nick's just running through the pasture after a raccoon.
I got that dog.
Turns around and bites him. That's how he gets rabies.
That'll be the first time.
And so if you don't know raccoon hunting, basically, it depends on how much property you have, is the better coon hunters are, they let their dogs out, and they'll come back 2 hours later and just listen for their dog barking. And so they'll go and you'll go to wherever the dog is, and you look in a tree for the raccoon. Well, me and my brother was getting into it, and he was training his dogs on how to hunt. I'm telling you, I don't know if there's anything more terrifying is when you are out hunting for raccoons and you hear coyotes start yipping. That is the most terrifying thing, and they start surrounding you, and you just hear the yipping. Because if you ever have you ever heard a coyote? You never heard a coyote? Oh, I'm sure. I know Griff
you
has.
could stay out of my house till about 9:30 and you'll hear them.
It is absolutely terrifying to
And
hear.
they get in a big group. My dad had a group of them. He parked a tractor in a dark field, and he parked it because he broke down like the middle of the field at like 9:30 at night. Walked across to where the 4-wheeler was, and when we got halfway across the field, they started yipping around him. Mm-hmm. And he didn't have anything in his hands. This was before smartphones, didn't have a flashlight, nothing.
That's why I always carry a switchblade.
I'd love to see Nick in a street fight with some raccoons. So,
Have you ever been in a fight?
final with a raccoon?
No, just in general.
No.
No.
Well,
Okay.
like in 6th grade, that doesn't count though.
I've been punched multiple times in basketball, but I never retaliated to make it into a fight.
Oh, okay.
So, the first week I came back to the farm. I lived in Minnesota for 2 years, came back, started working on the farm full time. And we had to move bales out of a barn and move them into another barn.
Sounds like a siren.
Yeah, it's coyote.
Thought we were starting the purge or some shit. I was like, oh god.
Sounds like a bunch of witches.
Is that why you brought me into this garage? I don't want this.
Good lord.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
I'm glad I have start carrying weapons on me at all times. Jeez.
You should in your neighborhood anyways.
I'm telling you.
But the
It's
first week I'm
terrifying.
back.
You get
It
surrounded.
sounds like it.
First week I'm back, I'm riding in the skid steer. I get down, empty this whole barn, get to the last set of bales. They're stacked too high. The skid steer has this glass like viewing port on the very top. So I'm looking up at this. I grab the bale, I tip it back, an entire family of raccoons falls onto that glass window.
Oh my God.
This far from my face. About 4 inches from my face. They land on there. I jerk. I put the bale through the back of the barn. Take the tin sheet just completely out. Put the bale through the back of the barn. And then these raccoons are in various state of disrepair, running around like they broke legs. They're just like, it's a rough looking group at this time. And I'm mad because they just cost me about $2,600 worth of damage to the back of that barn. Oh yeah. So I'm like, I got the skid steer, and I'm going around the lot, and I'm chasing down these raccoons with a skid steer.
Jeez.
And I will never in my life forget, there was one, and the skid steer is not fast. There was one that had a broken leg, and I'm chasing it with the skid steer, and I'm like just slowly gaining on it as it go across the lot and go all the way down to where the feed bugs are. I mean, we probably went 300 feet with me chasing this thing, going full speed on this skid steer.
We're getting
and
shut
the
down,
raccoon's
Peter.
just
We are.
running. Hold on. And then I ran him over with the tracks.
Jeez.
I will never in my life, I will never do that again to anything else in my entire life, because I will never forget watching out of the front as I ran over that raccoon and watching his entire, like, everything shoot out of his face. It was the most disturbing image. I still see it clearly to this day. That was 7 years ago, and I still see it.
Well, here's the thing. I don't feel bad for any raccoon.
I don't feel bad for the raccoon, but I will never run something over again, because that was so just... Like, I can't get the picture out of my head.
We didn't actually do any of these claims. These are all just made up
We
stories.
made
we
all
made-
these up.
All are false. We made them all up. Well, I don't
Except
feel
for the
bad.
dead guy. I did save him.
Find evidence.
Well,
He's probably still at the nursing home.
I don't feel bad for
I doubt
raccoons.
that.
Probably.
My parents own chickens, and raccoons will literally kill chickens just for fun.
Oh, yeah.
They won't even do anything with them. They'll just kill them. They won't eat them or anything. Like, at least foxes will eat chickens, so you don't, like, okay, I get it. But raccoons will literally just kill them just to kill them.
Well, what started my raccoon, like, hunting and with the thing where I threw the pitchfork at it, was that the week before, the raccoons had flipped a switch on our feeding system and dumped 2 tons worth of feed out on the ground,
It's a lot of tons.
which I had to go shovel and refill the whole bulk bin and then
Well-
send it back up.
How much is
It
2
took-
tons worth of feed?
It's about 4,000 pounds.
I'm saying, though, how much
It
money
took-
is that worth?
I mean,
I think I figure each load's about 200. It's only about $500 worth
That's
of
still
feed.
$500 that raccoon
But-
cost me.
Well, I could use most of the feed again, but it cost me a day and a half of shoveling and reloading and doing everything again.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And I had to do it all and fence off my cows from that section of the feeding system, which meant I had to shovel to another feeding system, or I had to bucket feed to another feeding system, because if they would have went there, they would have gorged themselves, gotten
Well,
too full, and died.
you probably didn't have to worry about this, but the farmer I work for down south had mice eat up his hay bales
Oh yeah,
and ate up the string.
oh yeah.
And so we had to literally go through and pitchfork all and just feed it into the baler and rebale
Yep.
all of that. And obviously you get baler's twine that gets all up in there, his baler's, and that would ruin it. Oh, it was terrible.
Oh yeah. Well, we had I was moving an truck auger. So whenever you're emptying grain out of a grain bin, you have an unloading auger that goes into the middle of the bin. The bin flows down as a cone to a hole in the middle. The unloading auger takes it out to a truck auger, which takes it up. I was moving one of those truck augers whenever it was dark, and I felt something move along my arm. And whenever I got out into the light, I looked, and it was about a 9-inch long rat sitting on my arm. He was in the tube of the auger and crawled out across my glove and onto my forearm.
I've actually never seen a rat.
I'll take you down to the other farm. You can see some rats. We have about 14-inch long rats down there, with tail included.
Are you?
They're huge. They'll eat your dog.
It's like a... Jeez Louise.
All right.
Yep.
I think we're running pretty close to a close on this podcast.
Yeah, we are. We can.
So, any other animal encounters?
No,
think we're good?
I'm good.
All right.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you for joining. If you have your own animal encounters, please email us at itsaworkthingpodcast@gmail.com.
That is legit an email. Also,
If not, it will be by the time this is released.
follow us on Facebook at It's a Work Thing at Facebook.
Make sure you
And then-
type that in on the line.
Yeah, on the line. We also have an Instagram now. So,
Oh, do we?
Yeah, it is a work
No,
thing.
no, Shay, we aren't surprised. We knew that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We
that's
are
awesome.
official and
Yes.
businesslike, and Nick will monetize this podcast.
Yes. No, he
We
won't.
No,
he will not.
Nick will not monetize this podcast. There is no way.
I don't have
he
mono.
should quit now.
Anyways, cheerio.